All right, this is the feel good. This is the feel good segment, sort
This
of,
is it.
our. This is it. This is it. So, just a reminder of why people should be striking. Union labor wages compared to labor non-union labor. All workers, if you are in a union, you make 19% more than non-union workers. And then it goes on from there. I mean, in much bigger discrepancies depending on which, demographic you belong to. But unions have power,
And
and they are scared of that power.
strikes. I mean, I want to say literally, but that might be overusing that word. But I can't come up with an example of strikes not working to gain something for the people that striked.
Which is why Union Joe shuts down the strike when he can, and gives, talks the big game about Amazon, but then gives them a $10 billion contract with the government.
But even the threat of striking forced not to strike. They got something they wouldn't have gotten before.
Right. Well, the rail workers got one sick day.
Did they get one? I don't know.
I think that was in the plan that Biden put together, his team put together for them.
Yeah. We were trying before the show to come up with like what the hell's going on with the rail workers now, because initially we were told that there was a lot of reporting that some of the factions were interested in a wildcat strike, which is striking
against
the union votes,
you're right,
union leadership, and nothing has happened. So I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, and now there's the case that's coming before the Supreme Court, and I don't know, did they end up ruling on it where striking workers would be held liable for any damages done to property of the companies they're striking against, even if it's not willful, or even if they tried their best to avoid it. So in this case, it was the case involves cement truck workers, and everyone knew they were going to strike. They kept the cement trucks going so that the cement went dry. But apparently the owners did not continue that. And so while the cement truck workers were striking, the cement hardened. And now the case is the business trying to sue the striking workers for property damage, even though they tried, hard to avoid that. But I mean, the truth is, like, the whole point of a strike is to cause financial detriment to the people who are holding out on your wages, on your benefits, right? It's like the whole point of a strike. It's not a parade, right? It is to exact some kind of consequence to these people.
Right. And then just think of your own job. If whatever job, I work for an electrician. If I'm like, I don't like the way things are going, I'm out of here. He's like, well, can you just handle this, and this, and then be out of here? No, that's not how this works. It's not a one-way contract. And that's the problem, is capitalism wants it to be a one-way contract.
It sure does. And boy, watching, and I mean, we've shown some of the clips, how the way it's always framed, like why, right before the holidays, why do the rail workers want to put people in this bind? The whole country will come to a shutdown. Well, yeah, but like they never say the same thing to the CEOs, to the Warren Buffetts of the world.
No, and it had the press frame the whole thing as, can you imagine that the strike might happen because politicians won't give them a day off or 2 days off?
Yeah.
If that was the whole framing of this thing, this would have been over in a hurry.
Yeah.
And, they choose not to. But anyway, this is the positive.
This is us being positive. Can you guys tell?
This is as good as it gets right here.
All right, so let's talk about some of the strikes going on.
So we got Amazon.
Right.
What do we got? Amazon labor union demands Amazon to recognize and bargain with the union. So they're it's still fighting to be fighting to recognize the union.
Yeah. So like even that JFK 8 that voted to form a union, then Amazon just basically blows them off for, what has it been, almost a year now, where they have not come to the table to negotiate a deal. So now,
we got the same tweet right there, don't we?
Look at that, the two of us.
I'm deleting it.
Okay. Um, yeah, and this is just more, demonstration, of course, that Wendy's is going to double their stock buybacks to the tune of $500 million and double their dividends and to reward shareholders and executives, while 87% of their workers make less than $15 an hour. It's the highest rate of poverty wages at any fast food chain except McDonald's.
So, I mean, that tells you don't shop, don't go to Wendy's, don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Let it be known throughout the land that you are protesting them. We got another strike happening in South Carolina for Dollar General workers.
Yep.
For fighting working conditions, wage theft, and poverty pay. I mean, that's the whole gamut. If you're not solidly in the middle class, that's what you're fighting for.
But I mean, who's even solidly in the middle class anymore? It's kind of amazing, right? Like, I feel like these are the things we talked about when we talked about the beginning of the Industrial Revolution and like, before there were big labor movements. And here we are back again. It's all been allowed to dissipate. So, I mean, I'm so thrilled that people are clawing our way back, but it is despicable that we have gotten to this point, truly.
Yeah, and the railway strike really could have been a game changer, and that's where our government stepped in. If you see what's happening in the UK, they've got a record number of people striking across a number of industries. We do too here, but not to the same level that the UK does. But the railway strike would have put us over the top. But just let's look. They got 100,000 civil servants striking, 150,000 teachers and sports staff in Wales, 70,000 university workers, tens of thousands of train drivers. And of course, they're putting forth an anti-strike bill now.
Right.
That sounds sort of familiar, but it's in industry wide. It's not just affecting the rail strikers.
Nationally, right? Yeah, that's in the UK. Yeah, that's
in the UK.
Yeah. What is his name? Rishi Sunak? Yeah. Yeah, they're going to make striking basically illegal.
Right. And then here's another, I mean, this was in the last graphic,
States.
but the UCU is their version of university teachers union, more or less,
right,
for university. But here we have, and this is the peak hypocrisy.
It is really galling. I mean, truly jaw-dropping. So the slide 2 slides ago was in the UK, they're making these anti-strike laws. And the Biden administration's condemning the government's anti-strike laws. U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh said, "I would not support anything that would take away from workers." Staring at him in December 2022 railway strike.
The most pro-union president ever literally forces people to work
against their will. I mean, it's so vile. It is so vile. I still can't get over it. And I still can't get over the squad, apart from one person, Rashida Tlaib, I think, sending them all back to work, forcing them back to work.
They're still saving their leverage for something.
Hold your breath, everybody.
I just want to say, I resisted Fraud Squad forever.
Yeah.
And I still don't like really the framing of Fraud Squad. But look, when it came out with FTV, Force the Vote, it was, well, if they don't do this one thing,
right,
they're necessarily a Fraud Squad. And I reserve the right to say, well, let's see what they're going to do. They gave us reasons they were going to not do that tactic and leverage their vote for other purposes later. But they haven't leveraged anything ever, not once. All the things
apparently they're doing a lot in secret.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting all the secret stuff done.
All secret stuff.
Change everything.
We're not going to tell you about it, but trust us, it's happening. Lots of stuff going on behind the scenes.
Veering off from strike, but
yeah. Anyway, so I think we have a couple of, do we have a strike thing? Oh, well, there's this guy in the Midwest. I think he's called Marxist Midwest Marx. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of a fun TikTok video about taking back our power. Here we go.
You can't just take rich people's money. Why not? They took it from us. How else do you think somebody gets a single billion let alone hundreds of billions. You could get paid $1 million a day and still have to work 1,000 days at $1 million to get just 1 billion. People are out here with hundreds of billions. Well, it's stock appreciation. That's how they got it. Okay, how does a stock appreciate? It's valuable. Where does value come from? From people doing work. Oh, your company is going to make all the cars electric, going to take us to Mars, going to cure cancer, going to do whatever. Who's going to do that? Workers are going to do that. Without them doing it, your company is valueless. People producing the value do not get the wealth. It all goes to one guy who takes the value from everybody working for him and now has hundreds of billions of dollars. So take it back. Unionize their companies. Set up all possible paths of compensation to benefit workers. That's what they did to create billionaires in the first place. Just reverse it. If that sounds crazy, it's not any crazier than what we have now, which is a single person with 200 who could lose $200 billion and still be the second richest person on earth at the same time that 2/3 of the country is living paycheck to paycheck. That's crazy. Pick any metric. The system that we have right now is a joke, and it's only working for the people who set it up to work that way.
I really like that for so many reasons. One, it just like makes it a very simple sort of idea, but also, the thing that we hear so often about now is not the time and we need unity and, give Joe Biden time and all that kind of stuff is that, you can never forget that the second you aren't advocating for workers' rights or for the working class, it's that void is filled because it is constantly coming at them from their donors, from Wall Street, from the military industrial complex. Like they don't let up for a second. The reason that Pete Buttigieg had the most billionaire donors and then they all transferred over to Biden and everything is because they knew they were already advocating. They weren't waiting to see how it all worked out, So like they created this system that is destroying our country. It's just so exhausting, right? Like, but you can't ever let up.
And I think no matter where you land on Fraud Squad, the squad themselves, you have to look at everything that's happening and say, these people are not going to save us. The Democratic Party is not going to save us. It's workers and strikes and boycotts. That's the only power we have. We're not going to take it. You can't pass legislation that's going to hurt corporations and at any level. You can't. It's just not going to happen. The most union president we've ever had just forced people not to fucking strike. And that's the Democratic Party that's supposed to save us. So, when he says take it back, we have to take it back. We can't just say it's all electoral politics, vote for progressives. By all means, keep voting for progressives. I'm not against that. But they're not going to save us. That illusion needs to fucking die.
Yeah. No, they're not even going to raise their voices or, step out of line. So they're definitely not going to work again. And even again, I know we say this all the time, but like they talk about not taking corporate money, but they vote in line with all the people who take corporate money. So what difference does it make? It makes their hands are just as dirty at this point. Certainly when they vote to increase, military funding or for COP funding or for the Iron Dome or for, forcing people back to work. Like, who cares?
Well, I particularly love that we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic and they haven't connected Medicare for all to the pandemic. Or, they've said the Medicare for all will be great, but that's different from saying if you don't tell people why we need it, like that there's a crisis now, that this government isn't responding now to the moment.
Right.
Nobody sees the need for it. Like you could leverage the shit out of this right now if you just criticize Biden accurately on his
publicly every chance you get, instead of falling in line and giving him an A+ and pretending, by the way, this is one of the biggest travesties, I think, to have this, progressive caucus or group or whatever, not talk about COVID at all anymore.
It's amazing. And they barely did from the start, to be honest. They did when Trump was in power.
Yeah.
When Biden took over, next to nothing.
No.
All the shit talking they said about monthly payments. They might tweet it. Oh, gonna get a monthly payment, you know.
They
you
were
should-
waiting for Republicans to regain control of the House so that they could pretend to advocate for us again. You don't want to do it when there's a chance that it could pass, and make clear that most Democrats are not in line with their actual constituents or the constituents of the whole country, because we know that Medicare for All is majority popular across every political spectrum. Of course it is. Nobody wants to get sick and die or go bankrupt or homeless because of medical bills. Nobody likes fighting with insurance companies. Nobody. So the fact that they aren't leveraging the power that they would have, and then this idea that like to not create anything divisive within the party in Congress means that you're not advocating for the people who voted for you to get there to advocate for them. So you'd have a much better chance of maintaining your seat if you actually did what you were put there to do.
Right, because their public position is not winning over anyone to progressive values.
No.
Which is they're saying, well, you know, because we're popular, we're becoming more mainstream. That's going to make it more progressives electable. But how, like, you're not contrasting anything you believe in to what's happening. They don't even own the fact that our government's run by corporations anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's
a real abdication of duty. And it really does make you feel like there is no hope in electoral politics with the people we have there now. But